that it it didn't take him a lot of efforts to do that, but he made sure that he tidied up the whole room as it was given to him, including the bed sheets and everything. And that left such a great impact on the mind of the person who came to take the keys from him. So Acharya said that if you are taking Thakur with you and if you are walking in life, then you should do something unique wherever you go, and you should leave something impressive that people will be mesmerized to know that how this person is so different and I want to be like him. So the person again told Acharya Dev that there is a team to clean this room after you go anyway. So Acharya Dev said that when that cleaning person would come to that room, he would think in his mind that, oh, this person, out of all the thousands of people that come and stay in those rooms, this person has done such a big job about keeping his room so beautiful that I have minimalistic things to do, and that person also will feel grateful. And that is what we should do when we have Thakur in our lives. If we cannot do something different than others, if we can leave something, some impression that can make a beautiful impression in somebody else's mind, that will make that person curious about us and in turn about Thakur. That is how it should be if we walk with Thakur in our lives. And after that, he said, in continuation of that, that if you look around in Deoghar, he said, Deoghar mein agar dekho, to because of satsangi people, and they have a habit of washing hands after eating and drinking everything. So initially, they all had to ask for water, and the shopkeeper had to provide it, or the people will use it from their own drinking bottles. And but everybody would try and make sure that they would wash hands. So because of that consistent good habit of satsangis, now all over in Deoghar you will see people are they have tangled some bottles there just for washing hands. So he said, if you consistently be good, the whole system can change. You have the power to do that. What you need to do is you need to believe in yourself and do that thing consistently. That can make a big change around in the world. One more example, he said that in Deoghar, if anytime you eat at some outlet and if you run out of money, or if you don't have change, or for some reason you don't have the cash, the person will never deny you food. Why? Because the satsangis have built such a reputation that the shopkeeper knows with blindfolded eyes, he knows that a satsangi will not leave before paying the dues. So even if he doesn't have cash right now, he will go somewhere, make an arrangement, or maybe tomorrow or day after, that person will come back and give the due money to him. So nowhere in Deoghar you will see a person denying a food for anyone just because you don't have cash. So that is the reputation that satsangi people have built for themselves through their own behaviors, and that is how we should carry Thakur in our lives outside, so that the outside world can just look at you and be mesmerized about you, and in return for your Thakur. And one very amazing thing I would add to this, that this discussion, even Nishad and Hridaya were sitting with us in the Nath Mandap and they heard this discussion. And somehow Nishad really understands very little Bengali, but he did understand this somehow. And after we came home, we were about to leave from the hotel that we were staying in Vaidehi, and we were in a big rush to leave the hotel. And the kids started telling us that, we cannot leave any garbage behind. We have to leave the room. Mommy, do the covers exactly how they were when we came. Because, just yesterday, Acharya Dev told us that we should leave the room the way it was given to us. So we have to do that for him. Otherwise, what's the use of sitting there? So we have to do that for us. And The kids made sure that we left the first room the way it was given to us. And even in Bordavari guest house, when we were given the accommodation, we changed the arrangement of the room so that our beds were below the fans. And while we were leaving, the kids were like, you have to put those beds back how they were, because this is even in the ashram. So here we absolutely have to follow what Acharya follows. So I was mesmerized by the way it had an impact on the little minds. Then Acharya was talking about, I also had one thing in my mind, that whenever we do a lot of things, maybe for satsang or for our daily lives, we get a lot of fatigue, tiredness, we get exhausted, and we sometimes feel stressed. So somebody was asking to Acharya Dev about constantly being stressed in their lives, and Acharya Dev to that replied with such a phenomenal definition of attention. He said, Dhyan in Hindi translates to attention. We dhyan dena, that means to pay attention. So he said, if you pay attention to someone really keenly, then the word attention means at tension. Attention is at tension. If you are attentive, there is bound to be a little bit of tension, and that is required, because if you see a elastic band, if you do not apply any tension, it will not expand. So if you expect expansion in your life, then a little bit of tension, to be at tension, is required. And that answered another question in my mind, that many times I feel overwhelmed, stressed because of a lot going on. And if that is because of attention at some good purpose, if it is for him that you feel a little stressed, a little at tension, then that tension is actually due, because without that tension, you cannot expand in life. And I find this really magical. Then Acharya Dev said to one person, he was telling about interconnections. So another group of people came from some ashram, and they were all talking about how is it going there, and Acharya was discussing about how are your relations within yourselves. And then he started explaining that in this world everything is interconnected, even the things that we call dead, or that we call non-living, even those things and our life is interconnected. And most of the times we know certain connections, so we call those direct connections. Like I and my husband, we know that there is a direct connection. Me and my children, that is a direct connection, and we can name that connection. Me and my parents, very direct connection. So those connections, on a gross level, we all can understand those connections, and then we try and nourish those connections, because we know that there is a direct connections. Wherever there is wherever there is a connection that we recognize, we try and nourish that connection. But most of the times there are certain connections that are indirect. For example, he gave an example of a tree. So he said that we take in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. At the same time, there is some other entity in the world called tree that actually breathes in carbon dioxide and breathes out oxygen. Now, there is an indirect connection through breathing between us and the trees. Now, if that realization that I have that connection with that tree is not realized, then we have the world that we have today, that we are still cutting down trees. We are still, because that realization is not there in most of us, that there is a direct connection. We do not value that connection because we are not in realization with that, the value of that connection. So he said that in our life, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of connections. Some of them we recognize, some of them we don't. Some of them, and he said for that, he said, bhav ka vistar. Bhav is the realization or the feeling. And the more we expand the more we will realize the importance of these connections. So if you feel a connection for someone or something, you should nourish that irrespective of what somebody feels, because that realization is the expansion. The more we realize these connections, the more graceful we will be, because if we realize those connections, we will try and nourish them. It is applicable to even the non-living things as well as all the living beings around us. It can be our colleagues, it can be our friends, it can be our fellow satsangis. With each and everyone, we have a unique connection, unique direct connection. If we try and understand that connection, we will always value that. And it was a heart touching message that I found. That then he said that if we are yukta, if we are connected with Thakur, then we will always be niyantrit. That means we will always be in control. Because if there is any area in your life that is not controlled, that means you need to work in that area, and it is applicable. That control is applicable to your life as well as it is applicable to all these connections. Because with every connection, there comes a different kind of a control. And if you understand that control, then that connection you can definitely nourish better. So it is all about the realization, bhav ka vistar, the expansion of realization that we should do in order to understand the connections. After that, the one young fellow came, and he came for taking the blessings, to go for some higher education in UK, in Southampton. So to him, he gave a really beautiful piece of advice, which is applicable, I think, for all of us. He told him that you will go to a land where, because of your skin color, because of who you are, because of the way you look, because of the way you talk, there is a little bit of a inferiority attached in the minds of other people. So it will be sometimes expressed, sometimes it will not be expressed, but we have to understand that it is there. Now, when you go there, and if you will try and fit in, if you will try and be like them, there is a very less chance that you will earn any respect from that society, that part of the world. If at all you want to go there and be respected by them, never forget to be yourself. Just be yourself the way you are and stand firm for who you are. The more you do that, you will see that you will be respected by them, because the genuineness with which you will stand with what you are, with who you are, and feel confident about it. Doesn't matter what they think about who you are. Just stand tall and be true to yourself. You will find immense respect in the eyes of those people. And I think that is the advice which is applicable for all of us while we are trying to survive in this part of the world. So again, a very valuable piece of information that he said. There is another very interesting law he was telling to many people who used to come to him and say that, Acharya Dev, I'm appearing for an exam and I'm so stressed, I don't even know if I will pass this time. So he said there is a law of attraction, law of gravity. So he said, I'm going to say another law, and that is called law of uncertainty. So he said that only a fool person will decide what he wants and when does he want both the things. Most of the times you will see we chase our goals deciding that what do I want to materialize and when do I want that, and we decide both the parameters. He said that is a fool who decides both the parameters, because the law of uncertainty says that either you can decide what do you want and then leave the other parameter uncertain. That is, if I want something to happen with that quality, I want 100% marks in the exam, then you don't have to decide if that will happen in this exam or an year after. And the other parameter is, if you want to decide when it will happen, so you want to control the parameter that when. So I want to pass the exam right in this attempt, then you have to let go of what. So then you have to decide that, okay, I have to pass in this particular attempt, then you have to accept whatever result you get. Then you cannot decide that, okay, I want 100% and in this particular attempt. That is the foolish mentality. So we always have to accept the law of uncertainty, that one parameter, if you want to make certain, the other one will always be uncertain. Either you accept that the time will be certain for you, or you accept that what you want will be certain for you, then when will be uncertain. Another really remarkable thing, because maybe I at least used to do that mistake of setting goals where I was rigid about what, when and what. And I could totally relate that most of the times we face disappointment, because I think it was not in relation with this law of uncertainty. And then there were a lot of Malo, because it was the month of Boroma's birth, so Shravan month. So there were a lot of Matri Sammelanis happening around in Deoghar. And this time, Acharya Dev had made a tradition that after every Matri Sammelani, the whole group of Ma log, they used to come and offer a news at his lotus feet, that we had Matri Sammelani and how many people came and how it went and everything. So right after the first Matri Sammelani happened, after that, every day when people used to come and say about how the Matri Sammelani is going on or about the upcoming plans, he used to say this again and again and again, that make sure that because you are doing Matri Sammelani in Deoghar, which comes in Bihar, Jharkhand, people around who are going to attend that are not going to be understanding Bengali all the time. So it doesn't matter how beautifully you sing in Bengali. I mean, it's okay to sing Bengali bhajans, but it is very important to sing Hindi bhajans. It is very important to do alochana in Hindi, so that the people who are coming, who are new especially, who are coming to that particular event, can enjoy and can feel related to that particular event. It is not about what you like, but it's okay to sing Bengali. He said, I'm not against Bengali bhajans, but you should keep the sentiment of the new people in mind while you do Matri Sammelani. And I think that is applicable for all of us while we arrange any kind of events, that the sentiment and receptivity of the new people who are joining in is more important than what we like or what we are good at. So that was a consistent message which he was giving every single day without fail, and with giving an example of one Matri Sammelani that happened on the first day, where Bengali bhajans were sung, and he was always giving that example, that that was a beautiful Matri Sammelani, but there were many Bengali bhajans and there was a Bengali jajan, and that is not how I think is appropriate. So he was very gently putting it across, that keep the sentiments of the new people in mind while you go for any such congregations. Then this example that I'm going to say just now, he almost said this 5 to 6 times during that span of 10 or 11 days. One person came with a complaint to him that he is from some mandir in some state, I think somewhere in Bengal or Orissa, and in his mandir there is a bunch of people who come every day, and after prayer they start partying. So they make a lot of delicious food, paneer, this, that, and then they stay there and eat and have fun and laugh and make noise in the mandir premises and go home really late. Now, after looking at this particular behavior, people from outside who are not from satsang, one person came to that person and asked that, has your mandir turned into a party place these days? Looks like people are more preferring that place as a partying place. So because of that, that person got angry, and then he came to Acharya Dev with a great anger in his mind, that how can people be, so careless about how to be in mandir and all that. So to him, the way Acharya Dev responded is really peculiar and eye-opening for everyone, I think. He said, first of all, mandir is our premise. Thakurji's mandir is like our home. So we can decide what we want to do there. Nobody else, it is nobody else's job to judge or comment about it. If we are having fun in mandir premises, if people are laughing, having fun, say, enjoying themselves, what's wrong? That should be your first argument. He was telling that person that if somebody outsider comes to you and complains, and immediately your mind gets colored and you start feeling disgusted about your own fellow Guru Bhais, the half battle is lost over there. Because the way you feel about your Guru Bhais matters a lot. So first argument that you should put forth in front of them is they are just enjoying themselves, and Thakur is not a serious person, or it's not about always being serious in satsang. We have fun. He even gave his own example that in my own house in Bordawari, we stay up late, we eat delicious food, sometimes we sing, sometimes we celebrate. So who are other people to comment about that? So we should not get colored if somebody else comes and makes a comment about our own Guru Bhais. Then he said, at the same time, I also acknowledge that it is not good to do those celebrations and stay up until late every single day. And the person added that they not only वो लोग सिर्फ ये सब खाना पीना ही नहीं करते, जूठा बर्तन रख के चले जाते. They keep the utensils also dirty and leave the place. Acharya said, if I would have been in your place, the next day early morning I would wake up, go to mandir, wash those utensils crystal clear clean, and put them all nicely arranged. Then that evening when the same group will come for celebration, I would say with folded hands that, Dada, I have cleaned all your utensils yesterday so that there will be ease for you to use them today. You will not have to take efforts to wash them when you start your celebration. So, and then I might even be a part of that celebration, eat with them, and then after we have had a good time, I would gently suggest that, now we have enjoyed so much today, why don't you meet me again for tomorrow morning prayer? Because it's really blissful and I attend the prayer every single day, and it's important that you also come. So just try and come tomorrow. Now, because it was really late that day, so people will not be able to wake up the next day morning, so they will miss that prayer. Then the next day you again be a part of the celebration and again nag about uh, the morning prayer. And then the next day you make a point that, okay, today maybe we close down a little earlier, maybe an hour earlier, so that tomorrow it will be easy for us to come for morning prayer. And because of your love for them, at the same time, because of your pressure with love, they would try to come for morning prayer. And if they one day wake up early, that day they will not be able to party until late night because they have woken up early. And that is how you will even alter their own cycle. At the same time, you have not spoiled your relation with your own Guru Bhai, and at the same time, you have not taken a bad comment from an outsider about you satsang, about your own Guru Bhais. And this example he repeated almost 3 to 4 to 5 times to different set of people, depicting that how uh, we should tackle the conflicts if they arise at any point of time. Again, at some other point of time, another person came. He was a Ritvik, and he came to Acharya Dev and explained with really serious and sad face about some other fellow Guru Bhai from his own mandir and his misbehaviors. And he was really disturbed, and he said it is impacting him a lot. And to which Acharya Dev was really angry after that. And angry in the sense, I I would not say he was angry with that person. He also understood that the person was really troubled, and he empathized with him and said that it makes me feel really sad that if two people who have Thakur in their life, if they fight with each other, then I can only understand one thing. Either one person does not have Thakur in his life, or the other person does not have Thakur in his life, or both of them do not have Thakur in his life. Because even if one of them has Thakur and is tightly clinged to Thakur, then that person will always go and try and make a conversation and try to find a solution. He said that to that person, that is it possible for you to go back and have a conversation with that person? First, he was hesitant. First, that person was hesitant. He didn't say anything. Then he immediately told Amuda, who was the person who does the Nivedan, he told him, okay, then if if you think it is beyond your capacity to solve that conflict, then what you can do is you book 4 more days of accommodation here. He told Amuda that you make sure that the arrangement is done for him to stay here 4 days, and immediately you call the other person and ask him that Achardev is asking you to come here, and then I will make both of you sit in front of me and say your things, and then I will make the final decision about who is right, who is wrong, and everything in front of everyone. And that is how I will solve it. So now it is your choice. And Amuda also, he's such a hilarious person. He immediately started calling the other person for accommodation. And then Achardev tells him that, oh, wait a little bit. First, ask what he wants. First, ask if he wants to stay for 4 more days and call the other person, or if he wants to do something else. And meanwhile, that Dada, who had heard everything from Achardev, he said with folded hands that, Dada, I will go back. I will try and make an attempt to go to that person and have a conversation. And I understand now what I should do. And please don't take efforts to book extra accommodation for me. That was another thing. And then there was another group that came. It was a group majorly of mothers from some area, to which Achadev asked. He was really happy with that bunch of people, and he said to Maluk, hey, तुम लोग का झगड़ा वगड़ा कुछ होता है कि नहीं? So all of the mothers start, I mean, do you fight or not in between yourselves? So they all started nodding that no, we don't. Then he said with a very serious face that there should be conflicts, because if there is a sense of belongingness, if you all feel connected, then you should be able to voice your own opinions. And it is very much okay to have matabhed. Matabhed is difference of opinion. So if there is no conflict, no fights, कुछ झगड़ा नहीं हो रहा है, that means people are not voicing their own opinions. So if it should be that people should be able to voice their opinions, मतभेद हो ही सकता है, होना भी चाहिए. मतभेद should be there. Difference of opinion should be there. It should be able to be voiced openly. But there should never be manbhed. Because two people hold different opinions about a matter, there should not be a conflict in the minds. The minds should not get corrupted and separated. If that happens, he said, that is the saddest thing that can happen. And he said, even if अगर कभी मनभेद होता भी है कि दो लोगों का मनभेद हो गया, तो उसमें से जो ठाकुर को पकड़ा है उसने जाना चाहिए. He should go to somebody, the other person's place. 12 बजे तक बैठो, 1 बजे तक बैठो, जो भी बात है झगड़ा करो, लेकिन खोल के बात करो और उस मन भेद को मिटा दो. कभी भी मन भेद मन में रखकर नहीं रहो. He said, go to that person's place, sit until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, have a fight, have a discussion, open your mind and speak to the other person and get it cleared out. You should never keep the man bhed. Your mind conflict should never be persistent. It should always be tackled then and there, and at least one person should take that initiative to go initiate, strive, persevere, and try and finish that conflict that is making the minds go apart. The mind should always stay together. If we are with Thakur, then after that came a phenomenal statement, and I think ये जो बात आचार्यदेव बोले, ये शायद हम सभी के लिए एक अच्छा तरीका है सोचने का. He said कि बहुत लोग इधर बोलते हैं that कि सबको लेके चलना है, सबको लेके चलना है, सबको लेके चलना है. He said, hey, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in the statement that सबको लेके चलना है. मैं सिर्फ ठाकुर को लेके चलता हूँ. You only have to hold ठाकुर and walk in your life. If you walk with him in your life, then all those who walk with him in their lives will walk with you. And if some people are left behind, then they are not walking with him, then you don't have to worry about them. He said, I had so many friends in my childhood and in my young age, and until now also I was connected with many of them, but over a period of time I can see that only those who are connected to Thakur are deeply connected with me, but many of them who are not, those relations have faded away, and I'm fine with that. सो इसे सबको साथ लेके नहीं चलना है, सिर्फ उनको साथ लेके चलना है. अगर मैं उनको बहुत सही तरीके से पकड़ के चलता हूँ तो सभी लोग मेरे साथ आएंगे. मुझे और सोचना नहीं है कि मैं सबको साथ लेके चल रहा हूँ कि नहीं. सिर्फ आपको ये देखना है आप उनको साथ लेकर चल रहे हैं कि नहीं चल रहे हैं. एंड दैट वाज आल्सो अ वेरी powerful message that he gave to everyone who used to come to him about different types of problems, especially the mothers or the young girls. He would always judge by looking at them. ए तोर मन तो ठीक नहीं, तो तोर मन तो ठीक আছে কি नहीं, तेरा मन ठीक है कि नहीं, is your mind right? And then the other person would, if the mind was not right, the other person will not be so confident to nod that, oh yeah, I'm all right. Then he would say that all your jhamela, all your problems are starting with your mind. If your mind is dangling, if your mind is not stable, then you yourself invite a lot of troubles in your life. Everything is about mind, and everything is about controlling your mind. And how to do that is by getting attached to him. He was telling one girl who was jobless and who was gaining a lot of weight, and she was frustrated and undergoing a depression treatment. So Acharya Dev said that only one thing you do, you what time do you get up in the morning? She said, I get up at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. He said, you do only one thing. From tomorrow, you make a schedule for yourself, because now you don't have a job, you don't have a perfect really tight schedule. So what you do is you make a really tight schedule for yourself. Wake up, do nam dhyan, prayer. After, immediately after prayer, irrespective of the weather, go for a walk, 1 hour walk. After that, come back, breakfast, then you do something, maybe play harmonium or do something, lunch. After that, do something, maybe watch TV or whatever, but make a schedule. Nothing else you need. I don't even prescribe any medications, nothing. Even if you do just this, in no time you will come out of depression, because what we need is a structure, and our mind needs a structure. So if we have a structure to our life, again he said that if you are yukta, you are niyantrit. That means if you are connected to Thakur, your life will be in control, and that control is to have a structure in life. Maybe sometimes it will go here and there, but again you have to come back to that structure. But if there is no structure, there is no way you can come out of that situation. And the last thing I would say is about us. Like, again, I would go back to the way he was so gentle about not only my emotions, I would say for everyone's emotions, but I could feel that for myself, that after my parents left from there, immediately I was just sitting there. I went to Anubda for asking some nivedan for somebody else. And even what Anubda was going to say, I didn't know at all. Suddenly, Anubda told him that her parents are going to go tomorrow, and she's still staying for a few more days. Achadev said, okay, you are, and until then we were staying in the hotel Vaidehi for those 3-4 days. Then Achadev said, hey, और तू रहेगी? बहुत अच्छा, तो फिर आ जा इधर. He said, चले आए. That means come near me, and he told Anubda to give us some room in the premises of Bordavari. And then after that, the room that we were staying in Vaidehi was AC, and then of course this accommodation was not AC, and the kids were a little disappointed because it would be warm, and it was one day after we made that shift, the immediate next day was 44 degrees there. So we still made that shift because I said no, if they've said come here, then there is no way we are thinking about it, we are just going to shift. So we left that room and shifted to Bordavari. From that day onwards, every single day when I used to sit in front of him, he would look at me for a couple of minutes and call me in the front, and he would ask me, hey, तेरे बच्चों को कुछ असुविधा तो नहीं हो रहा है? I mean, is there any inconvenience for your kids that you are facing? So I would say with folded hands that the first day I said, no, no, there is no inconvenience. Then the second day again he asked, and I thought that, there's nothing you can hide from him. So the second day I was honest enough to say that, Dada, they feel a little hot, but apart from that, everything is fine. They are happy and they are enjoying. Then he smiled. Then the third day again he asked me the same thing. "Tu log kya kha raha hai?" Every day he will ask, "What food are you having?" And this time we were determined not to eat or drink from outside, because last time when we went, just a little bit of food here and there was causing trouble for people. And there was one Guru Bhai from Canada who came, and whose wife suffered seriously because of eating just one time outside. So we made a pledge for ourselves that no matter how tempting it is, we are not going to eat that, and we are not going to let the kids eat that. So we were just eating Ananda Bazaar, and in the morning we would drink Amul Cool milk. So he would ask me every single day, and I would make sure that the kids eat couple of biscuits, so that if Acharya says, did they eat something, then I would be able to say that, yeah, they ate something and drank something. So the third day he again asked, "तू लोग क्या खा रहे हैं? क्या बच्चे खा रहे हैं? आनंद बाजार खा रहे हैं बच्चे?" And to my own surprise, kids started eating vegetables in Ananda Bazaar. Hriday even started finishing the whole plate along with whatever bhaji there used to be. So I could proudly say to him that the kids are liking it and they are eating Ananda Bazaar. Then I honestly said, it is a little bit hot, but Acharya Dev, that is how I think they will get used to it. Otherwise, how will they be able to come to Deoghar every year? And to that, the satisfactory smile that he gave me after that, Taito, and that means that's the point, he said. And he was, I mean, I can just I cannot explain the smile that he gave me after that. And then he used to just look at us. Then he asked us to asked me that, hey, तेरे बच्चों को हिंदी सिखा, मेरे को सुविधा होगा बात, because he will feel convenient, because every time he would ask something to the kids, they would look at me and then I have to translate it to them. So he was so eager to talk to them, but then he said, you should make sure you guys talk in Hindi. Don't even talk in Marathi, because Marathi will only be limited for Maharashtrian people to understand them. And if you even teach them Bangla, they will only be able to talk to Bengali people. But if they learn Hindi, then they will be able to talk to so many states in India. So make sure that you make your kids learn Hindi, and also make sure they learn Dutch. Also asked us to learn Dutch, both of us, that तू अभी वहाँ पे इतना सब कर रहे हैं तुम लोग, तो डच सीख लेना बहुत जरूरी है. वहाँ के लोगों के साथ बात करना, उनके साथ में मन जुड़ने के लिए डच सीखना जरूरी है, तो डच सीखोगी अच्छे से. That's what he said. And the day when we were going to come back, it was in the morning. Our train was that Vande Bharat at 10 o'clock from 10 11 o'clock. So Acharyadev comes and sits in Natmandap every day at 9:30. So we thought we will go there, he will sit there, we will do pranam, and then quickly we will leave. So, but that day what happened is he was late. So we had packed everything and we were super ready, but we just were standing there for him to come and then we will do pranam. He came at quarter to 10 on that day, and we said it's still fine, we have time. Then I went and bowed down, and you all know that it is not easy to leave Deoghar. So I was feeling really heavy, and we all were feeling really heavy. So I bowed down in front of him, and I was the first one because he just came, and I bowed down and I told him that, Dada, I'm leaving today. So he also had such a, I don't know, his face was different that day. And then he asked me that, जा रही है? I said, जी दादा, I'm leaving. Okay, बहुत अच्छे से सावधानी से जा. And then he had asked somebody to accompany me until the station. So he made sure that, do you have that person? I said, yeah, he is waiting for us there. Then he said that, then I woke up from there and I was just about to leave. Then he called me again. Hey, बहुत जल्दी तू वापस आएगी. You will come back very soon to me. To which I had teary eyed. I said, yeah, I will come back very soon. Then I again did pranam and started leaving. Then again he called me and looked at my face and said, तू कुछ खाई है सुबह से? So, and now it was 10 o'clock. Imagine we had a train to catch at 11. He said, तू कुछ खाई है सुबह से? So then I said, now you cannot lie in front of him. And on that day, especially on that day, we didn't have time to go to the shop and drink Amul Cool, or I think we had just drank Amul Cool, but we hadn't had biscuits because I said we used to eat biscuits so that we could say we had eaten something. So I said, नहीं दादा, थोड़ा दूध पिया है. Then he said, "Eh, कैसे जाएगी? Quickly go and do Anand Bazar. जल्दी से थोड़ा सा भात दाल खा के जा." And then he sent two people in the Ananda Bazar behind, and it was already 10 o'clock and 5 minutes past 10 o'clock. Now, we all felt a little stressed, but I said, if he's saying we have to eat and go, we have to eat and go. Doesn't matter if the train is gone or anything. It is not a point right now. So we all went there, and they had just prepared that really hot rice and dal. It was steaming hot. I mean, the kids were even not even be able to put that in their mouths. So I kept the deadline in my mind that until 10:15 I will just try and eat how much ever we can finish. We finished only 2 plates. We said don't give four. Only 2 plates we ate. Then we quickly did pranam from outside and we ran. After that, he made sure through Anugda messaged whether we got the train or not and whether we were okay. I mean, this kind of one thing I felt after the whole trip, and I think yesterday I was telling Pranay bhai that हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि उनके जैसा बनना है, उनके जैसा होना है, उनको फॉलो करना है. मैं बोलूंगी कि उनके जैसे प्रेम करना सीखना है. The way he loves, the way he loves each and every person. It's not only me. The way he feels compassion for each and every person that comes. एक लेडी ने आके पूछा कि मेरे वहां से हम लोग बेड में सोते हैं, मेरे हस्बैंड हर रोज गिर जाते बेड से. नाउ द होल हॉल वाज लाफिंग. I mean, it is not something that you have to go and tell Acharya. To which, with a very very serious face and compassionate face, Acharya replied that एक काम करिए, आपका बेड थोड़ा, put your bed alongside the wall and make your husband sleep on that side so that there is less chance that he will be able to fall down. Now, afterwards I was thinking to myself that okay, we understand that that lady came there with that question, but maybe it was she wanted some attention, maybe it was that she wanted some care, we don't know the reason. But the way Acharya received that question was very different than the whole world looked at that lady. I want that heart, I want that way of looking at people. I want to understand what people go through even without them telling me. And I think if we are on a journey to become like him, we all, हमको सबको उनके जैसे प्यार करना सीखना है. सामने वाले को देख के, सामने वाले ने कुछ भी बोला नहीं है, फिर भी उसको अगर हम समझ पाएंगे, that day I think we can say that we have learned something from him. So a really determined pledge that I made for myself is next year when I will go to him, I should be able to feel that I have a capability a little more to love someone. And one last thing before I stop. He said that he has never a conflict with anyone. वो बोलते हैं मैं झगड़ा ही नहीं कर सकता हूँ. Even his wife is mesmerized. She says that in so many 26 years of their marriage, he has never had a fight with her because he said she fights, but he cannot fight back with anyone. And he said his way of doing is that he puts his thing forward. He said in Deoghar, there are some projects for which he had given the instructions in 2000 or 2002. And those projects, if people have followed his instructions, would have got finished by 2004. But now people did not listen to him, and he just let them do whatever they want to do after that. Now those things are getting completed in the year 2023 or 2024 because his instructions were not followed. But he said, I never have a conflict with those people. I say my things and then I just leave. Then I don't keep on nagging about people, just listen to me, just listen to me. And another thing he said, that in any relationship that I have, if I love someone, if I love my wife, it does not matter if she makes good food, if she loves me or not, if she looks after my kids or not, if she does things for me or not. What matters is, if I love her, I love her. I love her irrespective of if she loves me back or not. If I love my friend, I just love him. I just love him. It doesn't matter if he loves me back or not, if he cares for me or not. And that is how he said that then you can just be the way you are, because you are unaffected by the behavior that is not in your control. You are not in control of somebody else's behavior. You just be what you want. You want to love, you love. And that should be unconditional. I think that is something I have said. I will be very honest that I've said a lot of things like a messenger. I am not somebody who is practicing all of these things right away in my life, but I'm on a journey that at least few of those things every day, if we try and practice, maybe next year when we go and meet him, we'll be able to make him a little happier, that okay, something at least we could improve. So with that hope, I just tried to share what all I could recollect. And I think we all should, the only message I have for all of us, that we should strive to be like him. We should love each other unconditionally. No matter what other person does, we all are Guru Bhais, all of us here. So we should stick to each other. Doesn't matter if we like each other or no, we must like each other, because we are, if we follow him, and if we love Thakur, and if you also love Thakur, we must love each other. That is as simple as that. And about the food service, again, I would say that he has said we should create such an event where people will come and have experience. And the experience in terms of music, experience in terms of food, experience in terms of chit chats, experience in terms of deep terminologies like spirituality and all, but it should all be in bits and pieces. And there should be a 10 minutes powerful address from our side, which will touch their hearts. So that is the vision for, that is at least the vision we should hold for an upcoming event we might plan wherever we want to, maybe one in the Netherlands, one in other countries as well. But we should try and experiment on these lines and see what we get out of that. So with that, I would say thank you for being patient with me, and Vande Purushottamam.